You're listening to the Mobcast Network.
Welcome to the Cult Movie Cantina. This podcast takes a look at our favorite cult films, introduces them to someone who hasn't seen them, she'll be here shortly, pairs them with a great alcoholic beverage.
That's me.
And then we talk about it. This week we watched the 1988 film Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Dun, dun, dun. I'm your Native American pop culture spirit guide, Scotty, and I'm joined by...
Your facilitator of fun and lady of libation, Stephanie.
And we have a special guest this week. We have Dr. Ann Guzy, an associate professor of English at the University of South Alabama. Among the classes that she teaches a horror and literature and film class at 9 a.m. Found that out today. Early. She's
I
a fan
can't even imagine being in class at 9 a.m.
I had a geology class at 8 a.m., and I don't care what you do. Rocks are not sexy at 8 a.m.
No.
Nothing's sexy at 8 a.m. It's just... Only class I had to have coffee for. I'm not a big coffee, but man, I was like, because I had Dr. Shadle, and he's a rock geologist guy, right? Uh-huh. But he's very monotone.
Oh, yeah.
He was as dry as his rocks. It was crazy. She's a fan of horror and the Halloween series, and I thought it would be awesome to have her here. Plus, she classes up the place.
Absolutely.
So, welcome, Dr. Guzy.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Hi.
Oh, doing great. It's Halloween season. Well, Halloween is every day for me, but it's officially Halloween season.
It's one of those, right? So, what is your first introduction to the Halloween series?
Oh, the original. I was in elementary school in 1978, and it scared the hell out of me.
So did you get to see it in theaters?
No. I mean, it was burgeoning home video, I guess. To kind of explain... I wasn't going to see it. My parents weren't going to let me see it in 1978, but in the 80s, with the growth of video stores. Oh yeah, definitely then, and then all of the subsequent sequels.
Do you remember the first time you saw Halloween?
Yeah, I do.
And
well, I mean, it's when it first came out.
So did you see it in theaters?
No, I saw it on VHS.
I mean, we would all have been young, so
yeah, we saw it on VHS. I remember being a little scared, but my very first horror movie was The Exorcist, so that was what I had to compare all horror movies to. So it wasn't quite as scary as The Exorcist.
I saw The Exorcist in Texas at 4 years old during a hurricane.
I was 5.
Oh.
I was 5 watching The Exorcist in the theater.
I loved it.
Yeah.
The thing that scared me though was when her head spins, and so between 4 and 7, when my mother would either wanted to discipline me without really disciplining me, or to get my attention, or to pick on me, she would slowly do the head turn. So I was convinced her head was going to spin. Did that for years.
See, I'm
Did that
Catholic,
for years.
And that movie scared me because it's real.
My parents were also pre-Vatican II Catholics.
Yeah.
They were not going to take me to the theater to see that, but I heard it when it was on TV. I heard it from the other room, and there was like, no, absolutely not.
I think they let me see it just to make me behave. This is what happens when you misbehave. You get possessed.
You get possessed by the devil.
And
it worked for a while.
Yeah, until we actually turned 12, and then we realized it's not the devil; it's a girl turning 12.
Right. Pretty much.
My introduction to Halloween was, I guess, when it first ran on NBC. So 80, 81, right before Halloween 2.
Right, because that's when they filmed the extra footage that they put into the TV version.
Right, and so I saw the TV version. I was very young, but I remember and scared me, and like in a delightful. I was always delightfully scared. I was like, and so that's when I first saw it. Yeah. Really loved the first one. The third one's the weirdest, but I've used to love that, watching that over and over again.
We just make fun of the third one.
Oh, but Tom Atkins. Come on.
Tom Atkins
He's
is great.
Fantastic. And there's so much more love for part 3 now.
Yeah, right. It has aged well. It has, the fan base and the cult base on 3 has aged well. However, for me, I think Halloween 4 will always be my Halloween. And for me, it's because when I started my video age, I was about the same age as Daniel Harris is, and so I have that connection of us being both young, and I can imagine me running away from Michael Myers and putting myself in that scenario, and so I was like, oh yeah. How you look, her Jellicle Jester? She just got here.
Yeah.
We just got started, so you're fine.
We haven't even done the ad yet.
That's yours.
We're just finished.
Yeah, that's yours. That's your ad
We're,
stuff.
we're just finishing the introduction.
So, Justina, this is Ann Guzy, Dr. Ann Guzy. And this is Justina, our other co-host.
She who knows no movies.
She knows no movies. So that's very cool. Well, since we got the Jellicle Jessica here, how are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm good.
All right, let me see if I can crank you up.
Alive, so you know.
There you go. Now I can hear you.
Hello.
There you go. So you are on a brand new microphone. Like you're the first person to talk on that microphone.
Should I spit a lot?
I think you should.
I don't.
Okay.
It's
Lick
whatever.
it. I dare you to lick it. Just lick it.
That's weird. It's really, really weird. Kind of grossed out.
And who knows who will get it next? So you're welcome.
I may have to replace the top on that. All right, so we have an action-packed show for you, but first...
But first, if you'd like to follow us, you can find us on any fine podcast app, including Spotify, by searching for the Mopcast Network. You can also find us on YouTube at Mopcast Network, where we have our podcast, movie reviews, mashups, and short films just waiting for you to enjoy. Don't forget I'm naked in one of them.
Sort of.
Sort of. Mostly. Maybe.
Good luck finding
Find
it.
out. And also,
It's in
where
the
am I at? So we want you to go ahead and subscribe, set the alerts so you don't miss anything, because we are awesome.
You know, with as much as she really teases that, you should put hints as to where to find the clip of her naked at the end of other clips, and they would have to go on a scavenger hunt of clips to get to a place where maybe they can find it.
Maybe
But
in
if
the
they
future.
just go to YouTube and just start looking,
Watching
they'll
them
end
all,
up
they'll
watching
find
them
it.
all.
They'll find it.
So anyway,
Oh, I don't have
Oh, maybe. Are you my missing page?
yeah. I don't have a thing.
There you
Mine
go.
was the sermon. Y'all
There
are
we
about to do
go.
the sermon. Okay, cool.
Oh, you had my missing page. There you go.
Okay. Thank you.
I had a missing page, and then I
If you
thought I
want
was
to
crazy.
find out more about the Cult Movie Cantina, you can join us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/cultmoviecantina. There you can find out the latest movie news, see trailers, play games such as Wrong Title Only and Caption This, talk to our cultists, that's us. Find out if and when we are doing a live show near you.
Ann's played some Capture
Guess
This and
yeah,
Wrong Title Only with us.
I like it a little bit. Yeah.
It's fun.
It's fun. And guess what? We do have a live show.
What?
You can
Crazy.
find us.
Coming very, very soon.
I know, very soon. You can find us at Horror Gras, the Halloween festival this weekend. Like you're listening to this, and it's Thursday when you're listening to this. So Saturday and Sunday, October 26th and 27th, right here at Gamers and Geeks in Mobile, Alabama, we will be here. So we'll have a table where you can meet and chat with us. Plus, we'll have some cool swag to give out and a chance to win cool prizes.
I had pictures of the cool swag. I have buttons. We have really cool buttons I'm giving out this year.
We've got cool stuff.
Buttons are the best.
Plus, you get to meet us. Did I say that? And we're cool.
We're pretty cool.
I can be bribed by any kind of alcohol.
I
That's
will
true.
be there beside her trying to keep up. So hard.
We'll also be recording a live Cult Movie Canteen episode. That'll be at 2 o'clock. We'll be talking about the movie, An American.
American.
We're never going to get this movie right.
How many weeks has it been and we still can't say this?
Months.
An American Werewolf in London. The panel, like I said, is at 2 o'clock on Saturday the 26th, so don't miss out.
I would like to announce now that my next film will be called The American.
The American.
I don't know if it's going to be a wolf that turns into an American or it'll be something.
The American Muff Diver in Tibet.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, then.
What's so funny about that film that we can't seem to get is when we brought it up in our chat and you said, watch Halloween 4. I didn't know if you were joking or if you were serious.
Did you not watch it?
No. When you were telling Jerry
Yeah.
to watch it for the Halloween
For Saturday.
thing, and Scotty was like, "It's an American Werewolf." Like, even in our personal chat, guys.
I know.
Also at Horror Graw on Sunday, the 27th at 2 p.m. Join me and my co-host, Drew Hall, as we record a live episode of The Catacombs. We're taking a look at the most bizarre of the Friday the 13th movies, Jason X, the one he goes to space. So that's 2 p.m. on Sunday. Come join us on that.
Space?
Yeah, he totally goes to space in one because they ran out of places for him to kill camp counselors.
Yeah, Jason, Pinhead, and Leprechaun go to a space station.
I'm waiting for Freddy to go to space.
I love Pinhead. I quit watching the Jason movies after the first one because I, once again, didn't think it was scary. I was disappointed.
So it's not really Jason you watched.
Well, I meant Friday the 13th.
Right, but you didn't you
I
never
know,
saw Jason.
I know. It's just I didn't like that movie and I never continued.
This weekend
It's like, meh.
This weekend I downloaded the Friday the 13th video game on my Xbox, which is the most amazing version of hide and go seek you'll ever play. So you either play as Jason to go find hiding camp counselors and murder them, or you can play camp counselors as you hide and try to get to the car and get the car to start so you can escape instead of just walking out and leaving. I have to have the car. I love it. I've had so much fun this weekend playing it. It's such a bizarre little game.
Which car did you have?
It's like this Pinto Gremlin looking thing.
Oh.
It's like probably one from 2. My favorite thing is that you have a variety of Jasons to play.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are locked because they want you to get points and stuff so you can unlock them. But one of the ones that is locked is the one from 5. So you get to go around playing not Jason, and
Right.
which is amazing. So
And isn't there one that's the old purple NES skin?
you can get the NES skin where you can just look like he was from that game. Oh, that terrible, terrible game. Anyway, from Jason to Michael Myers, we watched Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers from 1988. We are going to listen to the trailer now.
10 years ago, on the night of October 31st, a small Midwestern town fell victim to an escaped killer. Under the cover of darkness, he carried out the most horrifying mass murder on record. 16 people in cold blood. Ever since that night, no one has forgotten his name. And Halloween has never been the same. Now, Michael Myers has come home. He has returned for one more night of unholy terror.
He's here to kill that little girl and anybody who gets in his way.
Oh, God.
Who's gonna be next?
Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.
Maybe nobody knows how to stop him.
Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers was directed by Dwight H. Little, who also directed the 1989 version of The Phantom of the Opera with Robert Englund, which is quirky if you've ever seen it. It's not it's weird. From that, he also directed Free Willy 2 and a ton of TV. He's in a lot of TV.
I've never seen Free Willy.
Free Willy?
1, 2, 5. I don't know how many.
I've seen
there
the
are.
first one, and I haven't seen the
Isn't
ones
that
that...
the one where he has that like dramatic and the like whales jumping over him?
Yes.
Okay. I know that.
From there, it's an audio podcast, and you just stopped and started moving your hand in
like
a circle.
rainbow. Like he does. He's like so dramatic. Like we need to record these. I react too much with my body.
Well,
Anywho.
we're working on video. It's written by lots of people, but the screenwriting credit goes to Alan B. McElroy, who is most famously writing Wrong Turn, West Virginia. He wrote the Spawn film, and he's also done a lot of TV. Movie stars Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis, Ellie Cornell as Rachel, Danielle Harris as Jamie, George Wilbur as one of the 2 Michael Myers in this film.
There are 2.
There are 2.
Did one get tired?
One got fired.
Oh.
So rhymed.
Yeah, it did.
And wasn't it Tom Morga
Yeah, Tom Morgan got
from Friday the 13th.
13th. Yep. Go Small World. And Bo-Star as Sheriff Meeker. So here's a game we like to play. It's kind of a story synopsis, so everyone's finally seen it. So we do twofold. Before the episode, we typically ask Justina, because she's not seen any of these things.
I have not.
And she'll do what she thinks the movie's about. Well, now since she's seen it, can you give me your 3-sentence synopsis?
Yeah, okay. So, burn victim. Craves killing. Survives all of the disastrous things around him. And transforms children to be his minions.
It's kind of a better movie.
Right.
Stephanie.
It turned out pretty much like I said it was going to. Psycho doctor keeps crazy killer in mental hospital. Crazy killer gets loose, kills more people, and then
Heard that.
baby killer starts killing more people. I don't know. I mean,
I saw that
you
coming
know.
too.
Baby
Called that out loud.
Did you?
Yeah, I was like, she's gonna take in his footsteps. You watch.
it's a very predictable movie. I mean, we were going, oh, he's going to be there. Oh, there he was. Oh, he's going to be there.
He's there a lot.
There he was.
He
Some-
moves quick.
He does have a transporter power.
He-
He just transports to
apparently-
places.
Right.
He'll
But
be
he
on the
also
roof,
needs a-
and then he'll be on
Yeah.
the ground.
So when we get to the part where you can get over the synopsis, I have questions about this guy.
Excellent.
we have a doctor here who can,
That's what I'm saying.
she brought a book.
Because really, it shouldn't take long to explain what all went down in this movie.
No.
I have questions.
Well, no, because you've got to keep it simple.
Yeah.
Got to keep it simple.
So my synopsis is this: escaped mental patient and slayer of teenagers, Michael Myers has returned home to kill his sister. Wait, nope, she's dead. Okay, so kill his niece because reasons. His doctor, Sam Loomis, has to stop him, and then things go nutty. That sums it up pretty good.
Yeah.
So did he kill his sister, or did she just die of like natural causes?
No, that's in the synopsis. So let's get to the sermon. We'll answer that question
Okay.
early.
Cool.
Brothers and sisters gather round. It is a dark and stormy night with two paramedics get the worst delivery job ever. It seems that comatose mass killer Michael Myers needs to be returned to Smith Grove Sanitarium. It's like the worst Amazon return ever. After some exposition by the friendly and overly chatty security guard, we find out that Laurie Strode, Michael's sister, he's been trying to kill, see Halloween 1 and 2, has died. A car accident did what Michael Myers couldn't do in 2 movies. However, all is not lost. Laurie has an offspring, so sure, that makes sense to Michael to kill her for, reasons. So he wakes up from his coma and goes all murder on ambulance folks and then ensconced into the wet night. So that's our opening. So our opening it's beautifully stormy. it's amazingly stormy. You've got 2 great just character actors coming in, and they're going to go pick him up. They're here to deliver him at night, like at midnight or whatever. It's the perfect time to pick on a mental patient in a coma. It's like no one will know. And then they get a security guard who his sole purpose is to be exposition, because if you've not seen the first 2 Halloween films, he tells you everything that happens. He's like, all right, I got 5 minutes to catch you up, and this is what we're going to do. And so he catches everybody up. So he does.
Yeah, this is where society dumps its worst nightmares. Yeah, the one you're picking up, just thinking about him gives me the willies. A decade ago, Halloween night, he murdered 16 people, maybe more, trying to get to his sister. Nearly got it, too. But his doctor, of all people, shot him 6 times. Then he set him on fire. Both of them nearly burned to death. Yeah, I'll be glad to see this one gone. Oh, yes, indeedy.
Michael goes after Laurie. Uh-oh, Laurie's dead.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I think if Laurie was alive, I think he would have been like, if he didn't know about that, I don't think he'd woke up. he's just asleep. There's no movie if he didn't. There's no information there.
Right.
Are you trying to say he woke up out of a coma because he heard them talking about how she was alive?
Oh, you didn't see his hand move when
Well, yeah, but I hadn't seen the ones before that, so I just assume, I don't know, he was waking up. He was just sleeping.
That's what comas are, I suppose.
I guess.
Well, he had been silent and motionless pretty much before he escaped the first time.
Okay.
So yeah,
He always looks like he's pretty silent, though.
Yes.
he's not what we call chatty.
No. Unless he's in a Rob Zombie movie.
That's true. Oh.
But that's another.
I have feels about just
See,
words.
I enjoyed that one better than any of the Halloweens I ever saw.
Really, you like the Rob Zombie one?
I like it so much better.
It's. I think it's very pretty to look at, but it strays too far for me. So it's like,
well, see, it's not necessarily about the story. I'm not bought into the storyline.
Right.
I want a good scary movie.
Right.
So I liked it. I thought it was a little scarier.
yeah, oh yeah.
The second one, I started laughing halfway through the movie and just laughed the entire second half.
Why didn't the second one?
There's a
The
Halloween.
second Rob Zombie.
Yeah, there's Halloween 2.
I only saw the first one.
Yeah, you see the second one. If you like the first one, you don't like the second one. They kind of continues the same movie. Continuing on. Meet Jamie. She's Michael Myers' niece and who's living with a nice foster family back in Haddonfield. It's Halloween time. Yay! Jamie has terrible nightmares of her uncle trying to get her, and that's probably putting some stress on the family. Foster mom and dad have to go do a thing, but the babysitter can't sit for Jamie, so it's up to foster sister Rachel to come in and pick up the load. But Mom, I can't. I have a date with a cute boy who might father your grandchildren. But
Bad
no,
specimen. He was a bad guy.
but no, you've ruined it because I've got to go babysit my psycho foster sister. Oh wait, she didn't hear that. Yep, Jamie did. Yeah, awkward.
I've somehow missed that they were the foster parents, and for the majority of that film was so confused as to why he would only want to kill the little kid and not the older sister.
Oh yeah, they said Foster
Oh,
several
I missed
times.
it.
It's a thing in the beginning of the movie when Jamie's watching the rain at the very and then Rachel comes to see her to say, why are you up? And she's like, you don't love me like a sister, like a real sister. And they're like, look, we have to explain to the audience that you're my foster sister. So
A lot of exposition at the beginning.
Do you love me, Rachel?
Serious questions tonight. Of course I love you.
Like a sister?
Jamie, sometimes
Like a
it's-
real sister?
we're not really sisters, Jamie. But that doesn't mean that I love you any less.
Sure it does.
So
I
we're
went,
not
like-
really sisters, but I still love you.
The action was so loud that we had the TV turned down quieter because of when they would start shooting or something so loud. So I missed so much of the dialogue.
You
But
know,
I did see them sitting outside.
I had issues with the volume too, and I couldn't figure out if it was a streaming service, but I guess it's the movie itself had
So
weird
I have
volume.
gotten to the age now where I just watch movies with subtitles.
With the
they
captions
didn't
on.
have-
Me too. Me
We
too.
do too, and there wasn't an option for. So I struggled to find a way to watch this. It wasn't on Amazon unless you got Shudder.
Right.
I don't know what Shudder is, so nope.
I downloaded Shudder because I couldn't find it
I
either.
couldn't find it on. I
Shoulda
even tried
asked.
to
I
buy
should
it.
give- I
we
have- I had a
checked
copy.
Target and Walmart.
I couldn't
looked
find
at
it
Netflix and
anywhere.
Honestly,
Hulu.
I thought there might have been a copy at your house.
Josh has none of the Halloweens because that's what I went. What am I doing? Why am I looking through this? This is a man that has movies. Okay, so I was like, what am I doing? Josh has his favorite genre. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go upstairs.
So next time, can we do one that we could find that streams?
Yeah,
Yep.
no
E-
Halloween
easily.
film.
Because
So I ended up
yeah.
having to watch it on Kodi, which I've never done before, and so it's apparently, from what I understand, not exactly legit. So you
It's
watch
what we call
you
shady.
Get. So you watch what you get, and they did not have subtitles, so I watched it sans subtitles.
So this is a whole new experience for you in this podcast.
So some of the information was missing from me because I missed the dialogue. So the whole time I was like, why wouldn't he want to kill the older sister? I don't understand. But then it would get really, really loud and really quiet again.
Yeah, it's not mixed very well, and
Okay.
so
It was hard to find.
Yeah, I was like, it was crazy because I could find several of the other Halloweens
Do you guys
streaming,
know
but
anything
not
about
Halloween
Shudder?
4.
Is that a new thing just because it's Halloween?
Oh
like it's
my
October?
goodness, no! It's been around for a few years
Has it?
now.
I didn't know
Yes.
about it
Very
either.
first thing
Had I
that-
known about
yeah.
it, I would have had it.
Right, because
It's
it's
awesome.
one of those things that you think that most people would talk about because it's like horror films, correct?
Yeah.
Or
well,
am I
Shudder
mistaken?
is AMC's horror wing, and they
Okay.
their own streaming service that does caters only to horror film, but they're from AMC.
I just had never heard of it, so I thought it was like they just did this for October, and now for the month of October, I'm not gonna be able to watch this film on Amazon. I did not realize it had been.
Should call
around.
that. I think I had a digital copy I could have sent you. I think I had it. think I have it.
Well, anyway, we all watched it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we all watched it. We all made
Seen
it
it
happen.
many times.
Too. I watched it three times this week.
AMC used to show 4 and 5 on Friday night, like every other weekend for what 2
Right.
years.
Right.
Well, I have the AMC app, and I checked that, but they had several of the others, but not 4.
Oh,
Because they probably
Maybe.
had it on Shudder.
because I know
Yeah.
Shudder has Halloween 4 and 5.
Right.
And right
Which
now.
is what we think Joe Bob might be showing on Friday night
I'm
for the
gonna-
Hootenanny.
That'd be fun.
I don't know.
The Hootenanny sounds amazing.
All right.
Shutter. Now you're gonna have to
Shudder.
download it.
Shudder's getting a lot of free ad space from me today. All right, meet Dr. Loomis. He was Michael Myers' doctor, and he's pissed, royally pissed, that they've moved Michael since he's a murder machine. No one really cares. Loomis about Dr. Loomis until there's the world about the ambulance being found. Loomis goes to investigate but can't find Michael, so he's heading to Haddonfield because he knows where Mikey's going. He's going to kill his niece. Reasons. Along the way, Michael stops at a gas station / diner, finds some coveralls on a mechanic who wasn't using them after he was conveniently dead. Luckily, Loomis happens to need gasoline and ends up at the same filling station. He runs into Michael and sees all the dead folks he's killed there. He tries to reason with Michael.
Michael? Why now? You waited 10 years. I knew this day would come. Don't go to Haddonfield. If you want another victim, take me. But leave those people in peace. Please. Michael. God damn you.
That doesn't work. He tries shooting him. That doesn't work either. Michael escapes. Loomis takes chase. Okay, more of just him meandering around and calling his name. Michael! That's what he does. He just kind of aimlessly...
Michael!
just aimlessly runs around.
Michael!
Michael Myers tries to run him over with a tow truck. I still don't know how he drives. That's a question I have for this whole series. Instead of knocking down some power lines, he blows up the place, Loomis' state-owned car, and nearly Loomis's himself. Loomis then takes the slow walk to go find him.
Okay, let's revisit your question on
Yeah,
driving.
why wouldn't he be able to drive? Out of all the things he does, you're wondering how he drives.
Well, he was in a mental institution from the ages of 6 to 21.
Well, yeah, but
So-
I mean, it's just a matter of pressing the gas.
Okay.
and-
So, okay. All
Somebody
right.
around here must have given him lessons.
Okay, so
seen it on TV.
Okay. I'll give you part of that, but that tow truck is a standard shift. And there's no way that he's like, I just figured this out. There's clutches and things.
Okay, I want to know how he can stick his thumb through a skull.
Magic. He's very strong.
That strong?
Apparently,
That's
yeah.
one of the questions. What makes him have super strength?
He's very strong. I mean, he in the first one he lifted a tombstone, a headstone,
Yes.
and carried it around for a little bit.
His
The
sister's
Rock is very
tombstone.
strong. I don't think he's going to stick his thumb through a skull.
What they're trying to say is at that mental institution, they had a wicked gym. And then he had nothing else going on for him.
Better than
so-
goals. He's just like all the murderers are just getting
Be
bulked
like,
up.
Mike, you want your pudding?
I mean,
Go
the whole
get some
time we're
pudding.
like, that's not real.
I will also.
That's not
He
real.
just gets larger and larger in subsequent sequels until you have Tyler Mane in the
Yeah.
Rob Zombie movies.
So
Yeah.
maybe Justine is right. Maybe they have a
What
hellacious
else to
gym.
go
And
do?
also,
some
I will say the Rock is not supernatural.
well, he's
Have
not.
you seen
But
Skyscraper?
isn't Michael Myers just a crazy dude?
Until
He's purely and simply evil.
and then possibly.
But isn't he human? Like an evil human?
well,
I mean, that's where I'm at with this.
Okay.
This is a dude that's
so
evil, crazy, but still a dude, right?
because of the continuity of these films are so messed up, we are led to believe that he's human, but he's done all the supernatural stuff. In the first one, he survives being shot
6 times.
6 times by Dr. Loomis. The second one, he survives being blown up
and having his eyeballs shot out.
In Halloween, Halloween 2. In 4, all this crazy stuff happens, and so they kind of have an explanation. In 5, crazy stuff happens too, but they were like, we'll leave it open and let someone else fix it. In 6, they were like, oh, it's a cult and he's magic.
Oh, so they do at least try to explain
They
it.
tried to.
Okay, because I was just wondering is if they just keep referring to him as this crazy person, human person.
I don't think they say human, but
well, I mean that's what
It's assumed
This
that he's a
isn't.
person.
This isn't a man.
the devil made him do it.
well, literally, like at the end of 5, that's what you think.
Well, I've never seen 5.
Oh,
so.
5 is like the literally direct sequel to this, so they continue the same story. So there's Jamie and Rachel for a minute, and
For a minute.
Because the studio said you need to crank this out while we are making money.
Right.
Off of it.
While this little girl is still young
right,
too.
and but spoiler alert, it ends with they don't really have an ending, and so they have this mysterious man in black get off a bus and break Michael Myers out of jail after they capture him, and then they're
he
like,
lived after they shot him like 12
I
dozen
thought he went to,
times.
like,
at
a
the
hit-
They
end,
always
and
do.
then, like,
You can
sunk
shoot
into a
him. You can
hole.
blow him up. He
again,
always comes
shot
back.
6 times, blown up in a hospital.
Has he ever
knocked
been
down
decapitated?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
In
well.
H2O,
Yes.
but
But
it wasn't him. Oh.
because contractually, see, we can talk about all of the supernatural MacGuffins, but it's the bottom line is the biggest supernatural power is the studio. If the studio made a nickel, because that's my synopsis.
Right.
In 1988. Freddy was already on movie 4. Jason was on movie 7.
7.
So, people like, oh, we're sitting on the Michael Myers property. Let's make a movie. So that's my synopsis.
I mean, that makes sense. So basically, it doesn't matter how he does all that stuff. Just watch the movie.
yeah.
Back to the synopsis.
Okay.
Dr.
past the
Loomis,
synopsis.
yay.
We're on
Okay,
to the
so
sermon.
Loomis. Yeah, sorry. Back to the
That's
sermon.
okay.
Thank you.
Fine,
Thank
I
you for
got
keeping me straight. Loomis then takes a slow walk to go find him. Okay, so back to Jamie, who's having a hell of a time at school. Seems everyone in town knows that she's Michael Myers' niece, and so the kids taunt her.
Hey, Jamie, where's your costume? Where's your mask, or are you wearing it? I don't need to wear a stupid costume. That's because every day is Halloween at Jamie's house, right, Jamie? Because your uncle's the boogeyman. Boogeyman, boogeyman. Jamie's uncle's a boogeyman. How come your mommy didn't make you a costume, Jamie? How could you? Her mommy's dead. Jamie's mommy's a mummy. Stop it, okay? Stop it! Jamie's an orphan. Jamie's an orphan. Jamie, please stop it! Jamie's an orphan. Jamie's an orphan.
They're awful.
My
Kids
favorite
are
one,
awful.
my favorite one is Jamie's mommy is a mummy.
Jamie's an
orphan.
orphan.
Jamie's
Jamie's
an
an orphan.
Oh, poor Jamie.
They're horrible.
They're
They are.
terrible children. She takes it in stride, but yeah, those kids are jerks. Rachel and her friend Lindsay picks her up, and Jamie is all like, hey, can you take me trick-or-treating? Even though Jamie was totally opposed to it earlier. Kids, am I right? So Rachel agrees, but they need to buy a costume at a discount mart. They got some cheap ones there.
How
And
convenient.
hey, Brady,
That's
Rachel's
not the only cheap thing there.
Rachel's beau, who happens to be working there, and so she broke a date with him, so she's gonna go check him out. Real quick, Loomis is having a hard time hitchhiking back to Haddonfield until he's picked up by a traveling preacher who is searching for the apocalypse. Seems like Loomis is too. Maybe he is. At Discount Mart, we meet Brady and Kelly. They work together, and they're cute, and they're going to totally be a thing. Oh, wait, look, Rachel's here, and she's got to tell Brady she can't go on the date, which is good for Kelly. See that later. Jamie's looking for Halloween costumes, and she finds a cute little clown costume. That's basically the same thing Michael Myers wore when he murdered his other sister 20 years ago.
True story.
Speaking of Michael, he's here too. He gets his mask and scares Jamie and leaves. Later that night, Michael goes to a power substation, kills an electrician, causing the whole citywide blackout. Dr. Loomis shows up to warn Sheriff Brackett, but he's retired, so now you've got Sheriff Meeker, and so Loomis and he go to check on Jamie. So Rachel's taking Jamie trick-or-treating, and she's having a blast. They end up at a house, and oh, hey, look, it's Kelly, and she has no pants.
Yeah, at all.
Cops do it by the book.
She wears a shirt.
She is literally wearing nothing but a T-shirt,
No
opening
pants.
the door.
No pants.
Oh no, we're not to the part where I want. Okay.
Oh, look, and Brady there, too. Brady's got to explain. Jamie goes wandering with other kids because, kids. So now Rachel's got to go find her. So meet Earl. He's a bar owner, and when the TV tells him to close down his business, he tries to find out why there's no answer at the police station. He gets a group of drunk rednecks, shotguns, and trucks to go to the police station and find out what's going on.
He had to down his beer first.
That's true, he did. Yeehaw. That'll end well. Achievement unlocked.
I respect that, downing the beer first.
Drunken mob.
Like, I need to drink this beer before we go to the police station.
So Meeker and Loomis break into Jamie's and Rachel's house. They can't find them, of course, but Michael's been there. He's killed the family dog and found pictures of his niece. Poor Sunday. Rachel continues to look for Jamie, who is all kind of mad at herself for getting lost. She's being pretty brave, though. She's telling, hey, look, I got a big dog here and such. Says there's literally no one else in the town on the street. Like, there was people and there was kids.
And now there's
nobody. She's like in Resident Evil land. It's over. It's crazy. Oh, look, Rachel finds her, scolds her for a bit. Then Loomis and Meeker find her too, and they all get in the sheriff's car and head back to the police station. But on the way, some local hoodlums nearly get themselves killed by wearing this year's popular Halloween costume, Michael Myers. Which was
they almost like straight shot them. They're at different times. Like, oh,
really?
I almost had to shoot you.
They were all like, don't shoot, man. And they all laughed. It's crazy. At the police station, Michaels has gone all murder on the officers in the station. The mob shows up. Loomis tells them what's going on.
What the Sam Hill is going on?
One home, Earl. It's police business.
What the hell did this? Looks like to me you're out of business. Now I want some answers.
I haven't got the time or the patience to argue with you. Now go home to your families where you belong.
Forget who's paying your salary, Sheriff.
It was Michael Myers. He's come home to kill.
Let it be, Earl. Let the police handle it.
Like the last time? How many people killed back then? How many kids?
Al here lost his boy 10 years back.
Well, not this time, Ben. I'll handle this my own way. We're gonna fry his ass.
You stupid son of a bitch. You just created a lynch mob.
You haven't got a police force. These men may be the only defense you've got.
And that they go off Myers hunting, which they fail at miserably. They shoot some dude, and that's okay. They just get a scolding from the sheriff.
Yeah. Oh, you said it was Mike.
It'll be all right.
Meeker holds Jamie and Rachel in his house, and oh look, there's where Kelly and Brady are. Oh, Kelly is Meeker's daughter. Yeah, that's not awkward.
Still not wearing pants.
Yeah, this is the thing that kills me. She's like, oh my gosh, he's gonna kill me. Get dressed.
She doesn't get dressed.
She shoves her bra in the couch cushion and then walks around sans bra and a long t-shirt and panties that are like, they're not like granny panties, okay? Those are getting some panties. So she's wearing getting some panties with a house full of people, and her dad's just like, come here.
It doesn't even. So she must walk around like that all the time, is what I'm thinking.
That happened, and I turned and looked at Derby Wife, and I was like, listen, the first time I catch Mackenzie at my house with a guy, and she's wearing a long shirt, no bra, and some lacy panties, someone's going to get beat up. If not two people.
Well, yeah, and there's Sheriff Meeker with Brady. I catch you groping my daughter, I'll use this gun on you.
Well, yeah. Catch you grope my daughter. I'll use that shotgun on you. You understand?
It's like, what do you think he's been doing? Your daughter's half naked.
You were just sitting here reading that article? Please.
Meeker barricades the house, leaving a deputy, and goes to protect the town. While the state police are on their way, Loomis goes to look for Michael on his own, giving Michael ample time to kill the deputy, impale Kelly, and break Brady's neck. It's kind of a busy day for Michael. Jamie and Rachel escape, climbing through a window onto the roof. Jamie is lowered to safety, but Michael knocks Rachel off the roof, knocking her out. Jamie runs into the night. Jamie runs into Loomis, who decides to take her to the school. Safety. Michael shows up, beats up Loomis, throws him out of a window, and chases Jamie. Except right before he can kill the little girl, Rachel shows up and blasts him with a fire extinguisher, grabs Jamie, and is rescued by the mob, who decides to rescue the girls instead of fighting Michael.
Let's get this bastard.
No! We'll kill you too! We have to get out of Haddonfield. The state police are on their way. Let them handle it.
I don't know about you, Earl, but that makes sense to me. Let's get the hell out! Out of the police station? Let the troopers have him. That's what they get paid for. Screw it. Let's get out of here. Al.
Let the state police handle this. This is what they get paid for. It's my favorite line.
We pay their salary. They can do it.
Earl takes the girls to safety. They see the state police and direct the survivors to safety. Looks like Michael was under the pickup truck the whole time. He climbs onto the back and just
Superhuman strength.
Just stabs 3 hillbillies in the back of the
He
truck.
just appeared. He like you said, he has teleport abilities
Yes.
as well.
He
Because
He's just really pulling.
he just shows up.
A De Niro and Cape Fear and just hangs on, or Bob in the Simpsons episode. Where was I? Stabs 3 hillbillies who were back there, then shatters the driver's side window and tears out Earl's throat.
Oh no, he uses his face.
Goodbye, Earl.
Right.
Earl had to die.
Hold on, I got one for you. Rachel has to take the wheel. Sorry, Carrie Underwood. I wrote that, was proud of myself, going, no one will laugh, but I will. Michael is on top of the truck and is trying to kill Rachel, but her side-to-side stunt driving is on fleek. She slams on the brakes, throws him off the truck, and when she just decides to ram right into him, knocked him into a ditch. Sheriff Meeker, what's left of the lynch mob, and the state police show up. Jamie is ordered to stay in the truck, which she does not do, and goes to check on her uncle.
Get in the house, Carl.
She touches his hand, and when he raises to kill her, the group just tells her to get down and unloads on him. All their weapons go firing, and he sits down a mine shaft. That's a good place to leave him. Whew, that was a lot. But the day is saved. Michael is dead, quotation marks, and the healing can begin. Well, after bath time, Jamie's foster mom draws her a bath, and when Jamie goes up there and stabs her, she comes to the top of the stairs dressed up like a clown, looking all young Michael Myers-ish. Loomis and Meeker runs to the bottom of the stairs where they hear the screams and sees Jamie. Loomis just tries to shoot the little girl, but Meeker stops her. Loomis screams,
No! No! No!
way better than Darth Vader does in the Revenge of the Sith. And now the cycle continues. Happy Halloween. That's a good sermon.
It was pretty good. Preach. Preach.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Hallelujah and all that.
Oh, I love this movie.
And breathe.
So you said you saw the scares are kind of obvious. I never saw the little girl thing at the end. So when I first watched it.
Well, my husband had seen this movie and he ruined it for me. So
bad Jamie. Oh, funny enough, Jamie.
Jamie. I mean, I don't think he meant to, but when we watched the beginning of it, I didn't see it. So I'm like, oh, little girl, she'll get killed. And he said, no, she's not going to get killed. And then I just knew. I just knew. I'm like, ugh.
And especially when she goes to touch his hand.
Yeah. I'm
Get away from him, Jamie.
Yep.
Why do that? Why do that? Like
that, I was like, I don't
think he meant to, you know?
No. My question is, why does Jamie go out and touch his hand? It's the last thing
here's the thing. She doesn't have family.
That's her uncle.
This is her only family. And I feel like over the course of the film, she's scared, but she becomes like less scared.
I think Satan compelled her to.
Yeah. But when she went and she like was touching the hand, and then he like grabbed the knife, and she was walking, I was like, she's not gonna die because she's next. Like he just passed it on. Something went through them in that touch, and that's when I was out loud was like, she's next. So when it happened in the house, I was like, it was the kid. I bet you it was the kid. And then she's standing there. Oh, yep. Called it. Pretty little kid.
So do you think Jamie screams better than Barbara or Judy Rose in Night of the Living Dead?
Better as in annoyed me more, or better as in like did well with it?
Whichever one.
Well, I think being that Jamie is a child, screaming it, the way she did worked for her.
Yeah, I thought her screams were less annoying than the ones in...
Yes.
Oh, wow. Judy Rose's screams are terrible.
It was bad.
Judy Rose also...
I agree that it was less annoying. The ones in the other film, Night of the Living Dead, made me want to turn it off.
See, I quit watching this franchise, with the exception of the Rob Zombie remake, after 3, because I thought 3 was ridiculous. Of course, I saw it when it first came out, and I haven't seen it since then. So
we're totally doing it.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you watch it.
Well, I don't... if I remember correctly, there's a lot of bugs, and I'm not down with that.
No, not a lot, but just the scenes that have a lot of bugs.
Right. There you go. But I don't know. As far as I enjoyed it, I found it really predictable, but I enjoyed it.
It's predictable in like the 80s kind of way because slashers can only do so much.
Right.
And if you stray too far from the formula, like 3 did, then you're going to lose your audience.
Absolutely.
They just wanted to get back to the original idea. Michael Myers walking around killing people, Dr. Loomis trying to stop him.
Right.
So-
you got to keep it simple to get the audience back.
Oh, yeah.
So
absolutely.
if you can, for our audience and for our other cultists here, can you give us a quick little history of 3 and why 3 exists the way it does?
John Carpenter and Deborah Hill considered Michael Myers dead. You know, the character, the concept. They wanted to do an anthology series. So, I can't remember if Dennis Etchison took a pass at 3 or 4 or both.
He did 4.
Because he wrote
the novelization of 2 and 3.
Right.
And then took a pass at
So
4.
they wanted to do something different, do more of an anthology series. And so that's when we get John Carpenter and Deborah Hill had been on vacation in England, and they went to Stonehenge. And so there was fog around there. Ooh, so you get 2 movies out of that. You get their movie, The Fog, and then you get this kind of, Celtic cult-inspired Stonehenge-esque Halloween 3 with the masks that have tiny bits of Stonehenge in them so that they'll activate and kill all the children.
And killer robot agent dolls. That is the weirdest thing for me in that.
And it has Tom Atkins, making out with an actress who is, like 23 years older than he is. But he's the man.
Yeah, he is.
So.
That was a Halloween movie?
Yeah, Halloween 3, yeah.
I was listening, and then I realized that nothing you said made sense compared to the movie I just watched. And it really hit me where I was like, we're still talking about that movie, right? We get sidetracked a lot. So I was just making sure.
No, it's the same franchise. It's the first 2 are about Michael Myers killing people, then they were like cultic masks.
And yes. And so by the time, the slasher cycle had waxed and waned, and then by the middle of the 80s, you've got Freddy in full bloom, you've got Jason in full bloom.
I did love some Freddy. Freddy was my man.
Yeah, mine too. In my heart.
Yeah.
But so
when we do Nightmare on Elm Street, we'll have you back.
Who is if you're sitting on the rights to Halloween, hey, we've got a masked slasher. Also, let's make some money off of this.
Right.
So did Mustafa Akkad have the rights yet? I know.
Yeah, Mustafa Akkad's name was on all of these.
Yeah, so because I know after they did a pass on 4. And then it wasn't what they wanted because Mustafa wanted Michael Myers and slashers because that's what the fans wanted.
Right.
And so Deborah Hill and Carpenter sold their shares of Halloween off and then went to go do other things. And then this is how we get Michael Myers back. And they were like, let's up it and up the violence in it because they had a softer tone in the first draft. And then they just kept pumping it.
Because they wanted to go back to the original, which is fairly bloodless. Yeah. You don't really see any blood.
That's true.
You could watch Scream and where they're like, oh, why is the blood so red? I'm like, no, that's the scene where Bob is getting skewered onto the door by Michael Myers. There's no blood.
None.
I don't know what they're talking about. There's no blood in that scene.
There's not.
So they were trying to go back to the relatively bloodless. But again, it's 1988. What do the fans want?
Well,
Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers.
We want blood.
So you get Earl in the pickup truck getting his throat ripped out.
Which was awesome.
Well, you get Kelly also being impaled. That's with the
shotgun.
Shotgun. Yeah.
Like he was like, I'm not gonna shoot it, but I'm gonna stick you to a wall.
Right.
Which is
because
more.
Guns in horror movies are more often than not useless.
It's true.
They're not as fun.
No. It's not as intimate. Guns, you can shoot somebody from far away. In horror movies, you need to be up close and personal.
Unless you're a stormtrooper, then you probably should be up close because you'll miss.
You'll still miss.
You'll still miss. The only way to hit could be like really super point blank. I got to touch it. All right. Do you have a libation for us?
I do. Actually, you know how I like to Google and see, okay, is there something already out there? And they had a website that they had several websites where you could pair cocktails with your favorite horror movies. And they had one for this one, are for the Halloween franchise, and
Right.
I thought it was crap, so we're not doing that. So I'm like,
That's why you're the Lady of Libations. You're
Right.
allowed to do that.
I was like, this is too free. It was not. It was like this autumn punch stuff, and it was like more for like a Halloween party with children. It was very seasonal and.
So you would serve that one for 3.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, I didn't like it. So, being creative, I decided to go with what I know. And at my house, we have a plethora of Myers Dark Rum.
Shout out to Jamie.
That's right. So I came up with a drink I call the Michael Myers, and it's a take on what Jamie likes to drink, but with a little variation. So I did 2 ounces of Myers Dark Rum, a half ounce of cherry brandy,
Oh my goodness.
like a dash of molasses, and you're going to stir that in a glass half full of ice, and then you're going to just top it off with your Coke.
Delicious.
It is actually delicious.
You can
It's
find.
kind of like a cherry Coke, but way sweeter because it has that molasses kick. And Myers kind of tastes like molasses too.
Yeah, it does.
So
And it's very thematic. So I
yeah,
dig
so
it.
there's your Michael Myers.
And you can find that recipe on our show notes. Go check out our show notes. So I found a little bit of apocrypha for this one. So in the original script, Alan McElroy, Jamie was actually named Brittany, and they were going to call her Britty, which is dumb.
Britty?
Britty. Sorry for all the Britties who listen to our show, but I've never met one.
I've never heard of a Britty.
I know Brittany's, but never like shortened to Britty.
No.
But they changed it to Jamie to honor Jamie Lee Curtis.
Aw.
Right.
Sheriff Meeker was supposed to be killed in his house, and a fire would have been started in the basement and burned it down. But they didn't have the money for that, so they just
Say money. That's a money problem.
Yeah.
So they killed the scene, and then and because of that, they created this love triangle between Rachel, Brady, and Kaylee
Right.
instead.
Well, and that's originally why Rachel and Jamie were going out on the roof to get away from the fire.
Right, to get away from the fire.
Oh, gosh.
But there was no fire, just a Michael Myers down there killing.
Once again, it's amazing how he teleported from the roof to the ground so quickly and effortlessly.
He's magical.
He is magical.
He is a being of thorn.
That's all Stephanie needed from the beginning. Someone to go, he's magical. Cool.
All right, I got that. He's a Slytherin.
As long as we know that.
In the novelization of Halloween 4, okay, so I admitted this character from the synopsis because he's not in it much, but Loomis has kind of a boss, Dr. Sayer, who's the head of the asylum that they moved Michael from.
That's the dude that was in Rocky 4, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Sayer and Loomis part ways. After Sayer and Loomis part ways, Sayer decides to assist Loomis and head to the police station to find him. Once Sayer leaves the station, he walks right into Michael Myers, who gouges his eyes out. Later on, Loomis, Sheriff Meeker, Rachel, and Jamie arrive at the station. Sayer staggers out of the bushes with his eyes gouged out and leaking pus and blood. He tells them that he saw the true face of evil all those years, and then he's taken to a hospital. That'd have been gruesome. You had questions I had asked.
Well, those were my questions.
Oh, sorry.
My
I
questions were
forgot.
like, how is he like supernaturally strong?
Oh,
How
gotcha.
does he just appear out of thin air at different places? You know. But we were talking about.
I knew I wanted to make sure, and I forgot, so I want to make sure we covered everything.
Mine were like just, things that I overanalyze horror movies, especially if they're not particularly scary to me. I want to come up with ways that will make them scarier, which for me, the more believable the movie is, the scarier it is.
Oh, gotcha.
So there you go. It's kind of the things that throw it off for me. Makes it less scary. All the unexplainable powers he has makes him less scary to me.
I like. There's.
I need to know why.
There's some things I appreciate though. Like I didn't know some until subsequent viewings of the film. When they go to the drugstore or the discount mart, in the foreground of the shot is the wrecker that Michael drove.
Yeah, so you know he's there.
He's there.
Right.
But the shot's through the hook, and he's like, if you're not paying attention, you don't know what that is. And so you're just,
he's there.
And then you're like,
Yeah.
wait. So like my second or third view, I was like, oh wait, that's a truck. Oh, Michael said that, because I was like, how'd he get to the discount mart? Oh, he drove.
Yeah, he drove there.
Right.
And he just somehow knew that his niece would be there.
See, I don't think he knows it's his niece. I think he's just like, I'm going to scare this girl. Because he doesn't realize it's her until they get to her. I don't know how he knows where the house is.
I don't know. He's got to know it's his niece.
Well, because if he knew it was his niece, why didn't he try to kill her?
And did he have a psychic connection with her?
Maybe he didn't want to kill her. Maybe the whole
they
time.
touch hands or before.
Are we like bringing in The Shining?
Maybe
right
the
now?
whole time he just wanted to, to transfer his evil to her.
Maybe so. I don't know how Michael knows like which house to go to, but when he goes to the house, he's strode open all the Jamie's Jamie's mementos with Laurie's picture and her picture. So that's how he realized who she is.
Publicity still of Jamie Lee Curtis sitting on that wall
right,
in front, or the stone
the first
in
movie,
front of her house. And then, okay, if we're looking at minutia, how did she get a picture of 6-year-old Michael Myers?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Because she's got that in her memento box.
Right. It's like, and why would you have that? Why would they let her have that? It's like, yeah, he killed people. We should not let this child have that. Maybe when she's older, we'll have this talk.
If the Strodes originally died in a car crash and baby Laurie, not Strodes, the Myers family, if the Myers parents died in a car crash, which seems to happen frequently, and then
it's the curse, not Michael Myers, it's the car crash.
Then Laurie was adopted by the Strodes.
Right.
Because that's in part 2. I'm not your mother. Mm-hmm. So that seems to be a pattern.
Right.
Again, with part 4, keep it simple. Go back to the touchstones that people remember from before part 3.
Right.
So with all of that happening, how would they even have a picture of Michael Myers in his little murder costume?
His little murder costume. And why doesn't he commit to that in the future? Why is he in plain dark clothes when he should be dressed like a clown?
Well, because he had to steal that onesie from the mechanic because he was in a hospital gown.
Yep, in part 1.
And he did that same thing
and his mummy
in
Dark
4.
Man.
Yes, so
he
go
killed
back.
him.
Yes, all of those callbacks to the original. It's 1988 version of fan service.
Right.
He was wearing a mechanic's onesie.
Yeah, that's what that onesie is that he wears.
Okay, he wears the
jumper. That's a
jumpsuit.
mechanic jumper.
Okay.
That's what
Speed
mechanics
suit.
wear.
Never really paid attention to it.
Yes,
Just like a dark
but that's what he wears in all of them. He happens to find
like
even in the new one. There's a callback to 4 and a real good callback to 4 in the newest one.
He's like,
I mean, it's
I
an
need to
homage.
find a mechanic to kill about my size so I can get dressed.
Well, and that's how you get in Rob Zombies, you get Tyler Mane going into the bathroom stall with Ken Foray,
right?
Because they're both these huge hulking men. I'm like, okay, he's about my size. Let me smash him up and take his jumpsuit.
Right.
Oh, Ken Foray is awesome. Dawn of the Dead's amazing.
It's all about that jumpsuit. That's what gives him his superpowers.
Maybe so. Maybe
that's
the jumpsuit.
why he has to wear the jumpsuit at every.
I'm still going with Justina that the mental institution has an awesome gym.
I would, it would be scarier. It'd be more believable if somebody just said, he's possessed by Satan.
He's purely the blackest eyes,
right?
The devil's eyes.
Exactly. They should just,
And to follow along with your point, if he's been in part 4, at the beginning of part 4, if he's been bedridden for the past 10 years from 78 to 88,
he would have atrophy.
Yeah, his muscles. How is he sticking his thumb into? How is he getting up and walking around?
Oh, they mentioned that like in the investigation of the ambulance crash. Because Sayer's talking to Loomis about it. It's like he's an invalid. He's muscles are atrophy. He's probably 50 yards dead somewhere. We'll find him. It's great. Loomis is like, no, he's going to kill his niece. And of course he's right because that's the plot of the movie.
And again, in 88, by that point you already had Zombie Jason. So audiences were accepting Jason had risen supernaturally from the grave. And you had Freddy, who was supernatural, who comes and kills you in your dreams. So audiences could just, without a lot of explanation, audiences would accept that Michael would have some supernatural-esque or supernatural adjacent powers.
It's good enough for them, so he can have it too.
Yeah.
No, there was a Freddy versus Jason movie. Was there Michael versus anybody?
There was going to be Michael versus Pinhead.
Yeah, there was Michael versus Pinhead, and then there was.
Pinhead.
Oh, that movie is scary. Hellraiser. That's a good scary movie.
Is it called Hellraiser? Is that the movie?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
called Hellraiser.
Pinhead's the bad guy.
Yes, he's
Okay.
awesome.
Does he have
Hold
a
on, I'm going to show
pinhead?
you a picture. Hold on. We could
Bad
talk.
guy is
all-
really hard to like.
They're from
He's
hell.
not really like a. Michael Myers is like a heavy. Jason's a heavy. I mean, they're chasing you.
Pinhead is very intelligent.
Pinhead has like an agenda, but he's not like. He's more like a corporate manager of evil,
Yeah. So this is Pinhead.
or a branch manager of evil.
You called us, we came.
Oh, like pinheads. Okay. Yep.
Yes, yeah.
He's very literal in Hellraiser.
How does
Although he was
sleep?
just lead Cenobite.
In the first one, right?
He doesn't. He's in hell.
Every time you roll over, that would hurt really bad.
Yeah. See,
That would hurt
they're
really
scary because they're from hell.
We did a watch party recently of Hellraiser 4, and it's just it was fun.
Plus,
Anne
the
was on that
makeup
with
is
us.
phenomenal. I love that. Anyway,
First
But
I heard-
yeah, and there was going to be for about 5 minutes. There was going to be a Michael Myers versus Pinhead, but
Because-
of course with the studio rights and who owns the rights to what. That's how come Freddy versus Jason took so long to make. Was who owned the rights to this? Okay, now New Line has the rights. Let's make this movie. And so the legal negotiations kind of petered out with,
the reason
with
why-
Michael versus Pinhead.
The reason why
that
Pinhead
would've
and
been
Michael
great.
was because it's Paramount. No, it was New Line. New Line had gotten Jason, and so they did Freddy versus Jason because New Line
Right.
got Friday the 13th. So everyone else was like, "Who can we have fight?" And Dimension had Michael Myers and Pinhead, and so they're like, "Well, we have these both," and they just couldn't make it happen. It just it's a miracle that any movie's made in Hollywood, and so while this sounds like a lot, I don't know how you would make it work. I don't know why would this even be a thing? Michael Myers was also going to fight Ash from Evil Dead. That was also
Well,
on
and
the
it was
list.
going to be Freddy versus Freddy versus
That would've been
Jason
funny.
versus Ash.
Yes.
And they did have 2 comic book series from that.
that would be amazing.
On a
I
future
love
episode of
Ash.
the Catacombs, we do Darkman, and there's a Darkman versus Ash comic, and we cover that too. So Ash has fought everybody.
Well, and the Dynamite comics. Yeah.
Do you know who Ash is? Okay.
I haven't seen those.
Evil Dead.
Yeah, but I recognize it.
They're
and I know
good.
that it's not the person from Pokemon. So.
No.
JJP is going to be doing Evil Dead the musical.
Oh, really?
Yes, we
Wonderful.
are. We're going to have a splash section too.
Oh, wonderful.
Have to.
Yes.
For sure, you have to.
So, are you ready for some bar trivia?
Yes.
So, here's some fun facts. Danielle Harris, who played Jamie,
Thank you.
sold the clown costume she wore to a fan, which I kind of find creepy.
I
Like a
would
little
buy it.
kid
I would
sold it?
totally buy that.
Well, when she grew up.
When she grew
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
Well, she
So you're
also had a
negotiating as a 12-year-old.
She also had a serious stalker problem.
Yeah, she did.
Like stalking her or
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
stalked somebody?
Yeah,
Okay.
Did she
People
do
who
like
came
a
to her door with a
lot
gun.
of horror
and-
movies though?
No, she's done a lot of horror films. She was in
thought
both
she was.
Rob Zombie Halloween. She comes back and she doesn't play Jamie. She plays
Annie.
Thank you,
She plays
Annie.
Annie
I
Brackett.
was like, my brain went blank. I'm glad I have an expert here.
There you go.
That's why I have her. It's great. Originally, when Jamie and Loomis were trapped in the school, Jamie hides in a classroom under a desk. Michael enters searching for her, throwing the desk over. Although due to time constraints, the sequence was not shot for the film. It was remembered by producer Mustafa Akid and was later reused in Halloween H2O. He was like, I like that. Let's make that happen.
So you had Jamie Lee Curtis crawling under the tables.
Right, and it took
And that
10 years.
school scene with the horrible mask that I don't know who is running continuity or not, but it's this pink mask with blonde
All right,
hair.
so here's the mask story. You may know this, but here,
Yeah.
So
She's done a lot of horror movies.
So the mask situation was this: the original mask is a Captain Kirk mask that they painted white, and they have not been able.
Star
to,
Trek?
Yeah, Star Trek.
Okay.
They haven't been able to get it right since, and so
and sometimes dealing with rights
issues and it's all kind. So when 4 comes around, they got with Don Post to make the right mask, and they said they're like, this is what we want. So when they get the mask back, they're not white and brown hair. They're it's like pink hair and like flesh tone. It's terrible. It's awful. And so they have to make do what they repaint them and re-dye the hair, and a couple of them they don't make enough.
Right,
They-
because it's night shoots and you're rushing and people are tired.
So they're shooting this scene with Loomis and them in the school, and for just a split second, there his Michael with the blonde hair, the white, and because someone grabbed the wrong mask, and they were just like, "Oh, let's." I don't think continuity caught it, but they just went with it. And then so editing.
Yeah, when you're rushing a production to meet a release date,
Right.
Right, and
stuff happens.
And this film was shot in 47 days, and
Oh wow,
which is
that's
super
quick.
fast for a horror film, especially something that's got some complex special effects, like they blow up the diner and things like that. There's a lot of complex stuff in here. The drugstore set, the Discount Mart set, was used in Stephen King's The Stand.
Yes,
and,
it was.
and
Vincent Drugs.
Yep.
And also The Sandlot.
Salt Lake City.
You use what you got. So little do people know, but there's an entire sequence shot with Tom Morga playing Michael Myers, not George Wilbur. Morga was fired by Keed after he wasn't playing Michael properly, whichever that means. So they hired Wilbur to do the rest of the movie. So the scene is in the diner when Loomis is talking to him and says, "Oh, damn you," and shoots him. That's not George Wilbur.
All right.
And so
He stood correctly.
he did. He just, I wasn't happy with him. So something had to be done to acknowledge the improbability of Dr. Loomis's survival. Because in the end of 2, he's blown up as well. So the filmmakers compromised by giving him some burn scars on his hands and the right side of his face. Halfway through productions, Pleasance's girlfriend watched some of the dailies and was rather bluntly but accurately blurted out, "Look, Donald, you've got an egg on the side of your face." It was one of those once you've seen it can't be seen unseen moments. So Donald Pleasance freaked out, and so they had to go back and redo the makeup on them, and so they reshot everything that they had already reshot with him. However, in the process of editing, there are scenes where you see this egg-looking scar makeup on his face that they weren't supposed to be there, and they just
I'm
got it.
so glad you told me that, because I thought I was losing my mind last
No.
night. Because I specifically look at special effects makeup when I'm
Right.
watching movies, and so when they first showed the makeup, the first thing I thought is that's a really bad makeup job.
Yeah.
I mean, the first scene when you see him, and it's like that's just it doesn't look right. And then throughout the movie, it got better. And I was like,
But then it would get worse.
Right.
Like in the
It
same
was like
scene,
go
it was
back
like
and
it wasn't
forth.
like camera angles. It was just like
it was like the makeup itself changed throughout the movie.
Right, and by the time you get to part 6, he simply Dr. Loomis simply announces in his first scene that he had plastic surgery.
right. They're like, we're
Oh,
not.
great.
Of course, he was in his 80s by
In
the
other
time he
words,
was doing
I'm
this. He
not
was an
doing
old
the
man.
makeup anymore.
He died shortly before Halloween 6 was released. Which
I
says-
didn't notice the makeup, but Jennifer did.
Oh, it
She
drove
was like,
me nuts.
his scar keeps changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at this point, I think I
drove
was
me
just so
nuts.
exhausted that I was like, he has a scar?
But it's funny because they
Like,
went
that
back and
was me.
they shot everything over, and it was literally just, oh, here's the footage too, and they cut it in. Danielle Harris revealed that while her character was running through the neighborhood screaming for help, someone actually legitimately called the cops. She was banging on doors, yelling for someone to help me. And after I got lost trick-or-treating or something, she quotes, so 4 o'clock in the morning, they hear this little girl screaming up the street, and so someone calls the cops. The cops came, and the story ended up when the Inquirer said that she almost got kidnapped off the set. Didn't happen, but the cops were called. Melissa Joan Hart auditioned for Jamie.
Interesting.
Yep, Sabrina.
wow.
Sabrina could have been Jamie.
The teenage serial killer.
The body count on this movie is 18, plus 1 dog.
And Michael Myers is a dog killer. That is one thing I do not like about him. He kills dogs all throughout this series.
So that's
My
not
very
good
next
as
trivia,
He
And-
needs something to eat. He kills them and he eats on them.
and how many dogs has he killed in the series?
Okay, they think Brackett and Loomis think that he killed a dog back at his childhood home. And he kills Lester because Lester's getting on Annie's nerves and he goes outside. So Lester, the German Shepherd.
Right.
He kills Sunday in part 4. He kills Max in part 5. Can't remember right offhand if there's a dog in part 6 that he kills.
No.
I'm
Okay.
impressed.
Then H2O at the school, no. Resurrection, but in
This
Rob
is my new
Zom-
favorite segment. Just
in-
watching.
I know. I
in
love
Rob
it.
Zombie Part 2, he kills a dog and eats it. and Lori has that psychic connection with him, and so she goes and barfs while he's eating the dog. She's eating a pineapple pizza, and then she goes and barfs while he's eating the dog.
So
That's awesome.
So you're right, Craig. There's total 6, 3 in this continuity and 3 in the others.
I love you so hard right now.
And she did it from memory.
She did it with names at first. She was like, and then Sunday, and I was like, oh,
And completely
names
from
too?
memory.
See,
This
I
is
told you she would
awesome.
class up the joint. That's in the original script, Rachel hits Michael with the truck 5 times. While shooting, they reduced it to 3, but in editing, it ended up being 1. She just backed up and just die. Backs up the truck, die.
That would be me.
All right, so we're gonna play Screw, Marry, Kill.
Ooh.
All right, so we're gonna do the love triangle: Rachel, Brady, and Kelly, or I will accept Meeker, Loomis, and Michael, whichever one you want.
Marry.
Can I mix them?
Marry Rachel, screw Kelly, and kill Brady.
All right, she's just straight out.
No, that's exactly where I'm at. Listen, Kelly looked good in those underpants.
Yeah,
today.
she did.
Yeah, she did.
Cops do it
I
by
mean,
the book.
she was the best looking out of all of
Yeah.
them. She had a hot little tight body and a little cute little butt in those panties.
Right, because she was like, I don't need pants.
So she would have to be the screw.
And
one.
then after
Brady's
Rachel
gotta go.
threw the coffee on her, she did put on the plaid flannel.
Right.
only.
Right. No pants.
No
Right.
pants.
Pants
You
are
have to kind
overrated.
of respect her diligence not to wear pants.
She's like, I don't wear pants in my own house.
I also don't wear pants in my house, but I also don't answer the door like that either. So
Especially when children are trick-or-treating.
Trick-or-treating, right?
Even
For
though it
sure.
was those mean children, the mean children
Yeah.
who made fun of Jamie at school, and then she ends up trick-or-treating with them.
my Halloween costume this year is going to be an extra large white T-shirt that says "Cops do it by the book." That's all I'm wearing to answer the door this year for Halloween.
You need some skimpy white lacy panties on.
Oh, I'll
And
have
I'm
that
sure
on
if you
underneath
took
it.
those to a convention, Kathleen Kinmont would probably sign both of those.
I think that's gonna be my next
I saw
cosplay.
her
I
face
swear to
light
God,
up. Like, she
that's
was
all I'm
like, she
gonna
went,
wear.
"Oh my God."
That's the easiest. Thank you. I know what I'm doing now. That's what I'm doing. Tease the hair a little bit. Give it some '80s floof.
Oh yeah, lots of 80s hair.
Yeah.
Lots of 80s hair.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in part 5. Part 5 has some really good 80s hair.
Pensacon, I'm coming for you.
It's coming up in February. So, yes, you can mix them up if you'd like.
I don't want to marry any of them.
But that's the game. You have to marry one.
I will marry the cop because he probably has a pension.
You and Scotty, the way you
I
guys
will
take
screw
out
his daughter because she's hot,
Oh, that's not weird.
and I
At least she's
will
being honest.
kill Loomis because he gets on my nerves.
He is really
Oh.
annoying.
Sorry,
I love
he
it.
does.
Is really
I
annoying.
love Dr. Loomis.
He gets crazier and crazier in each installment.
He's not as annoying as Father Loomis. It was bad too.
No words.
Love you, Scotty.
Yeah, that was a low blow.
There you go.
I
There
wouldn't
you
do
go.
that to you. You low blow. Real quick, some background so you understand that I'm obsessed with Prince of Darkness. It's
Oh,
that's what
okay.
that's
Okay.
I'm obsessed with Prince of Darkness.
Here's the question.
Same actor,
How do
same
you
last
feel
name. One's a father,
about
one's a
Prince of
daughter.
You in the church.
Oh, I love that movie.
It's about a lava lamp.
An
in
evil
the
lava
church.
lamp. An evil lava
Pray
lamp. Ready
for death.
Oh, I love
And Alice Cooper, man. Alice
Cooper. That was cool.
Alice Cooper.
Such a good movie.
But once again,
And a
it
Simon
had-
from a Simon and Simon.
it had a little bit too much cheese in it.
It's fine. It's okay.
Oh, it's the 80s.
It's the 80s.
It's the 80s.
Look, it's not an Oscar-winning film. It's not my favorite film of all time. However,
It's not even my favorite John Carpenter film.
it's my favorite John Carpenter film.
Scotty's like, no, we draw the line
right
there.
Because it's I like the ambition of that film. That there's
there
so
were
much
any
they fall
Horror
so
movies
short.
in the 80s. I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street scared the bejesus out of me, the first one. Hellraiser scared me a lot.
Hellraiser grosses me out just because the first one is really, really just gory.
Yeah, Clive Barker and the king of cinematic body. Well, okay, he's the king of
Clive-
literary body horror,
Right.
and when he gets together with Cronenberg,
Yeah.
Right.
the king of cinematic
Clive
body
Barker.
horror.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to love to read some Clive Barker. Yeah, it's got a. I don't know. I just like things that are just more intense.
got you.
So again, and you had
Yeah.
so Hellraiser had already come onto the scene. So again, we've got the audience primed to accept the supernatural.
The
in
supernatural,
horror.
of course.
We either had. Oh, I know we had Hellraiser. We were getting close for 2, or weren't we?
Yeah.
2 was either in production or out. I can't-
Because 88 was a fantastic year for horror fans.
yeah, I have a whole list about what's coming out, what's out for that.
Awesome.
How prescient.
Yeah. So I try to do good research on this show. For me, real quick, my Screw, Marry, Kill. Rachel, I'd marry, but I know it's going to be very fleeting. We'd kill Brady because he's terrible, and I'd screw Kelly because. How
She's
could you
hot.
not? She doesn't
How
wear
could
pants.
you not?
She doesn't wear pants.
Don't you? Did you guys do yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the same as his.
Yeah, you're the odd man out this time, but that's okay.
okay.
You're making
No,
extra.
we
I had to
all
mix
screw
it up,
Kelly.
man.
We're fine.
We
So-
all
And
screw Kelly.
Sheriff, and Sheriff Meeker doesn't make it that much longer. I mean, he makes it through 5, but then dies at the end, so you get that pension.
That's what
Right,
I'm
you
saying.
get the pension.
It's all about the pension.
See,
if I have to marry one of them,
I just don't want to have to
a
carry him and the memories of his dead daughter because he starts drinking heavily after this.
Well, that's one of the
Stephanie's
reasons
like,
why
"It's
I'm
fine,
so
boo-boo. You drink."
It's one of the reasons why I'm so excited to
Pension.
see Charlie Cyphers has been cast in the next Halloween movie.
Right.
So you get to see what he's been going through, carrying around the weight of Annie for Annie's death,
Right.
for 40 years.
Oh, it's gonna be interesting.
The new one looks good. Looks like it'll actually be scary.
I don't know.
But horror movies are different now, I think.
My problem with Halloween, the most recent Halloween, is that they've solved it. So what for 2? The sequel. They solved it. They made a cage and they burned him alive. Like
Oh, please! In the final shots, you did not see him down in that basement.
I know,
and
I
that's the
haven't
thing
seen
with
it,
all of the
so I just wanna see it.
minutia
So don't
here.
tell me.
It
I just wanna see it.
doesn't matter.
That's true. I
it
agree.
doesn't matter if it makes a nickel. There's going to be another one.
They're like, there was a trap door. Magician.
So speaking of making nickels, anyone want to guess what the domestic gross on this film was?
And 88,
October 21st, 1988. That's the
27 million.
27. What do you think?
It's the fourth one. The third one was crazy, so they're really gonna have to try to get their people back. So I'm gonna say 15 million.
What do you think?
Oh, I feel ashamed that I don't remember this.
No, it's good. It's fun for the game.
After she listed the dogs and names
Wait,
of
this
dogs.
is the weird minutia. This is
Now
not like
she's
the in-story
oh,
minutia.
Man, I'm
So,
disappointed in myself. I hope you guys all.
so we have
remember
a
this.
27 to 15.
I don't know. For 1980, are you talking opening weekend or total gross?
Total gross. We'll do opening weekend next, but total gross. 'Cause I have both numbers.
35. I don't know.
Total gross was 17.7. So Justina was close.
Wow.
All right.
Opening weekend. What do you think?
Where do you think it placed, or what do I think it did?
Where do you think it placed opening weekend? I'll tell you, it made 6.8 million for opening weekend.
Okay, and it was in October.
Mhm.
I say it placed number 2.
Number 2.
I'm gonna agree with that. Number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah, I would hesitate to think number 1. In my heart, I would hope it was number 1, but I don't think so.
So what do you
Was
think?
it?
So what do you think,
I would go with 2.
ladies? It was number 1.
Oh, wow.
We were all so close.
Number 2 was The Accused. Number 3 was Alien Nation. Number 4 was Punchline, and number 5 was Gorillas in the Mist.
Well, if
Yeah,
I'd
so
known
I
the
don't
other
know any of
movies
those.
that were
Yeah, I was
out,
like, I
I
know
would have
none of
told you
those, so
where
I
it
wouldn't
ranked.
No,
know.
it's not
and-
fair to do it that way.
I know.
And well, the marketing for it, when you've got the poster and it's just a giant picture of Michael Myers' face,
Right.
the mask.
And everybody
that's
wanting
what's
him
gonna
back.
get people back.
Everybody wanted him back.
Absolutely.
So in the year, how do you think it ranked? I will say I will give you a hint. It did rank in the top 100.
I would say 63.
Justina's got this look on her face.
75.
75, 63, and
I don't know, 50.
57.
Oh,
Close.
wow.
Go.
It feels like Price
Right
is
in
Right.
between us. Yeah, it was, I
So,
went over a little bit.
Can anyone name any of the top 5 films of 88?
Nope.
Top Gun.
84.
Oh, well, I don't know. We always do this,
This
and I
always
never
turns
know.
into a game of what came out in the 80s.
I know. I'm like, I was.
Was it a Freddy movie?
Because I'm thinking Freddy was probably higher than
in
Halloween.
the 80s? What came out in 88? Ghost.
No, that was
90.
90.
Was it 90?
Yeah, it's 90.
have no idea.
Okay, let me think of what else came out in the 80s.
Oh, Snow White.
Ghostbusters.
84.
No, that 84 and 89.
Snow White. I'm sticking by Snow White.
You're Miss Snow White.
Number 1 was Rain Man.
Number 2 is Snow White.
No, number 2 was Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, yeah,
I've seen that.
that was a
one.
money spinner.
That was. Number 3, Coming to America.
Oh, I love that movie.
Number 4, Big.
It was cute.
And number 5, Twins.
I saw
Ew.
those.
1980 also gave us Beetlejuice,
Beetlejuice.
Die Hard, Willow,
Ooh, best Christmas movie ever, Die Hard.
The Land Before Time.
Yeah.
And we've touched on this a little bit, but the horror of 1988 included Friday the 13th Part 7, which has an Alabama connection.
Yep.
Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. Poltergeist 3, the one with the little girl honestly dies.
Yeah.
The Serpent and the Rainbow. Hellraiser 2, They Live, and The Blob.
Okay, so back to the horror movie. Serpent the Rainbow was really freaky. And
love Serpent
the
the
original the first Poltergeist was scary to me.
I like Poltergeist, but I only watch it when I watch E.T. If I'm watching E.T., I'm like, we're going to watch E.T. today. We're going to watch E.T. and Poltergeist back to back.
Why is that?
Because they're the same movie, and it's
The whole controversy over who actually directed.
Spielberg directed both of them. Come on, let's be honest. Toby Hooper's even said it. Toby Hooper was there. And he's like, I got paid.
I didn't realize that there was a controversy.
It's not really a controversy, but there was discussion. Spielberg was slated to make Poltergeist, but E.T. ran over, so he couldn't do it. So they got Toby Hooper to do it. Spielberg served as executive producer, but he was on set more times than not. So when he was on set, he directed.
There you go.
But it's the same movie. So in Spielberg's mind, too, it was the same movie. So you've got E.T. is this film of suburban dreams. You know, the little boy finds an alien. It's all had this adventure. Poltergeist is suburban nightmares. You know, the house is haunted and on this cookie cutter stuff, and it's just built on a burial ground, and it's so good. Watch them together.
With that great 80s trope of negligent, absent, or somehow not abusive, but parents who aren't really there for their kids. And then the mom in the end, the mom and dad have to stop smoking pot and take care of their kids.
Right.
Well, I mean, I was a product of that, being that in the summers, both of my parents worked, so I was home by myself all the time.
Yep, so there's little Jamie, and she's an orphan. Jamie's an orphan. Jamie's an orphan. Jamie's uncle's a boogeyman. And so she's living with a foster family, and that just opens...
Like, what if that boogeyman had her back? Like, wouldn't you be a little concerned about, like, Jamie's uncle's a boogeyman? Be like, yeah, I'm going to get him to come after you.
Yeah.
She never says that, though. Which
she doesn't have to. She can do it herself now.
Now she can murder the children.
She's super creepy and stuff.
Yeah, because it's not the kids that Tommy Doyle grew up with. Boogeyman's coming to get you. The boogeyman's coming to get you. And now we're going to see Lonnie Elam 40 years later.
Right.
And
Which was funny because I was hoping they'd get Paul Rudd to come back as Tommy.
A lot of people wanted that, but apparently he had a scheduling conflict with Ghostbusters.
I bet he would do it too. I bet he would do it.
Well, Kyle Richards is coming back, but they got Michael Anthony Hall to do Tommy Doyle. So
should be fun. Thank you so much for coming. This was a blast.
Thank you for having me.
It was a lot of fun.
And so
it's always nice to have someone else that knows a bunch of stuff. I can't fill in that slot, so.
This is one of my favorite of the series. It's fun. It's silly, but it's fun. I like the thumb in the head. I really like how he kills the guy in the power station. That's fun for me.
You like that?
Yeah, it's silly. It's just like, what are you doing here? Just. And then you can defeat Michael Myers with a truck and a fire extinguisher. It's just, guns won't hurt him, but a fire extinguisher and a truck, take care of him really well. All right, so thank you again for coming. This is our contribution to the multiverse. Go out and make yours.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Mobcast Network.